Hello and welcome to the channel. If you're here for the first time, it's great to have you here. Welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. My name is Mark. I'm a retired Kiwi who's living here in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. I'm a rugby fan, and 1 year ago this week I started this YouTube channel because I just wanted to share my passion for the sport of rugby, hoping that it'll make a small difference to try and grow the game across the world and get some new people connected to the game, but also give those stalwarts of rugby fans across the world another platform in which they can share their great passion for the game. So in 1 year we've come a long way. We've got a great global community. We've got people watching from all corners of the world, and my intention is that we keep this channel growing together. So today in this video I'm going to talk about the naming of the second test team for South Africa to play against Ireland in Durban this weekend. Rassie has named the team. I'm going to go through the team and give you my thoughts and opinions. So let's get into it right now. Okay, so as I said, Rassie has named the team to take on Ireland in the second test match, which will be played in Durban this coming weekend against Ireland. Of course, South Africa winning that first test in Pretoria, a fantastic game, and we're all hoping that we see another epic encounter this coming weekend. So let's have a look at the South African team. I'm going to give you my views about how those players went in the first test and talking about what I think they're going to need to do in the second game. So we'll start off having a look at the South African forwards. And in the front row, well, it's the same front row. It's Oxenche, it's Bonnami, and it's Frans Malherbe. A fantastic trio up front. They had a little bit of a hard time at different times against Ireland, but I think overall the South African forwards did get the better of their Irish counterparts in most of the set play positions. So no changes there for South Africa. Moving into the locking positions now, we're going to see Etzebeth again, and we're going to see Franco Mostert. So no changes to the locking positions for this game either. Moving on into the loose forwards, and the trio at the back for South Africa is going to be Peter Steph-Toy, Sia Kolesi, and Kwagga Smith's going to get another go at number 8 for South Africa. Now, some interesting things that I just want to mention about these three in these positions. I thought Peter Steph-Toy was one of the best players on the field against Ireland last weekend for South Africa. He was absolutely brutal. He plays fantastic every time he goes out, Peter Steph-Toy. I'm a huge fan of his. I love the way he goes about his rugby, and there's no doubt whatsoever that he was going to be back in that position again this weekend. And then we've got Sia Kolesi, and boy, what a game he had as well. I think he put to bed all those myths about him being overweight and not being at the peak of his powers anymore. He had a great game, I thought, against Ireland in that first game. And Kwagga Smith's got another run here at number 8 for this weekend. And I think this is a case of Rassie really saying, look, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Kwagga did a couple of things that were untraditional for him, let's say that way, in that last game last weekend by dropping a couple of balls. I can't actually understand why there wasn't another player there. I would have liked to see Peter Steph-Toy take those high balls from the kickoff, but Kwagga Smith was there. So he gets another run at number 8, and the only thing that I would say about this is I thought that Evan Roos might get a chance at number 8 this weekend, and we see Kwagga Smith going to the bench. That's not the case. Rassie has stuck with Smith, and we're going to see him run out again this weekend against Ireland. So that's the starting 8 for South Africa for the second test. Let's have a look at the bench that's going to come on in the forwards. And no surprises here. We've got the same bench as well. We've got Malcolm Marx, Steenkamp, Vincent Koch, Moret, RG Schneemann, and Marco van Staden. So the bomb squad is back. And boy, who's going to forget about that amazing scrum late in the last game? Was absolutely amazing. That gave them a penalty try, and I think basically earned them the win over Ireland last weekend. So I think this is a case in the forwards that Rassie's saying, look, it's not broken, let's not try and fix anything. We give these guys another hit out, and I think they'll gel a little bit better again this weekend. So that's going to be the forwards that play in this game for South Africa. Now let's switch over and have a look at the back line that Rassie's selected for this game. So surprise here? No, there's not. There's the same team that we saw last weekend. So at fullback we're going to see Willie Leroux. On the wings we've got Colby and Arendse, and then in the centres we've got Jesse Kriel and Damien Dialandi. Both went fantastic last week. I probably didn't talk enough about Jesse Kriel and his heroics in that game last weekend. He was absolutely huge in that game, as was Damian Deolandi as well, and some of his offensive runs were absolutely brutal. But I think that pairing is pretty much set in concrete for South Africa, and they're their go-to centres at this stage of the season. And then moving inside, Andre Pollard is back again, and Andre had a very unusual game for him last weekend. He missed a few kicks, and there was some talk around in the last few days that maybe Rassie will go with Sasha Feinberg as a starting number 10 for this game. I was one of those that was hoping for that, but it's not the case. Rassie has stuck with Pollard, and why not? He's a genuine deal when it comes to being the best 10, I think, in the South African team for now. And then we've got Faf de Klerk in at halfback again. So that means Grant Williams and Sasha Feinberg are going to be on the bench again this weekend for South Africa. And it really is a case of, okay, we got across the line last weekend, let's build on that and let's see what we can do. Now, just a couple of thoughts that I think I will share about this particular team, because we did see them last weekend. And it's very hard to think that Andre Pollard is going to have another bad weekend with his kicking boots. But if he does, I think Sasha will probably come on the field a little bit earlier than he did last week, and that might be the case as well. Faf de Klerk, I think, from a defensive halfback point of view, is a little bit better than Grant Williams at this stage, and I want to thank somebody who made reference to that in the comments, because after I reflected on that, yes, Grant Williams has got fantastic speed, and he really is an asset around the base of the scrums and the breakdowns. But Faf de Klerk, on how many occasions do you see him the last man in defence, saving tries in the corner? So I think Faf de Klerk will probably get as much time as he had in the first test in the second test this weekend. So let's not expect Pollard to have a bad day with his kicking boots, and let's see Kriel and Deolandi to do their thing again for South Africa in the midfield. And of course, those two wingers, they had a fantastic game, both Arendse and also Colby, and I wouldn't be surprised if they score one of the first tries in the game in Durban this weekend. I think it was a great game by Willie le Roux last week. Just having his experience at the back there for South Africa, I think, brings so much to their back line. He's great at reading the game from the back of the field, and he knows exactly when to bring the ball back by running or whether put in a strategic kick. And of course, he can come up with that 50-22 a lot of the time as well. So I think it's a good idea from Rassie to go with the same team again for this weekend. I think it's when South Africa get up against Portugal, we're going to see the changes run in for the South African team, a little bit more experimentation. But I think Rassie had it set in his mind that he wants to get these 2 wins against this Irish team, and he's going to put his best players that he feels can do that job, and that's exactly what we've seen in this team selection. I'm really looking forward to the forward battle again this weekend, because I think there's a few points to prove between these two teams. I think the back row for Ireland had a very good game, Caelan Doris and Josh van der Fleer in particular, but Peter Steph du Toit and Kolesi played really, really well for South Africa. So I think by having that same team out for South Africa, they've got a point to prove in those particular positions. I thought Etzebeth and Mostert did really well in the set piece for South Africa. They need to win a little bit more line out ball to give the South African backs an opportunity, but I think that's something they'll be honing in on more in this game on the weekend. It's going to be really interesting to see what Andy Farrell does in his team selection, because are we going to see Peter O'Mahony in there, or are we going to see a change around in the back row for the Irish team? Time will tell on that one. So there we go, that's the South African Springboks team to play the second test against Ireland in Durban this coming weekend. Let me know in the comments what you think about this team, and if there was anybody different you'd put in there, let me know who that would have been. I'll be back again really soon with some more videos with the namings of the other teams, including the Irish team and the New Zealand and the English teams to play in that second test match at Eden Park in Auckland in New Zealand. We're also going to have the second test between Australia and Wales, and that's going to be played at Melbourne in Australia on the weekend. So once those teams are announced, I'll make those videos and I'll talk about the team selections and what I think the strategy is going to be around for those particular teams as well. So plenty of content coming up this week. Make sure you stay tuned. The best way to do that, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, is to hit the subscribe button, give this video a bit of a thumbs up, and make sure you come back and check out those other videos. Okay, that's it for this particular one. Until next time, stay well, stay safe everybody out there. Keep enjoying your rugby all across the world, and I'll see you again really soon from here in beautiful Cancun, Mexico. Until then, it's time to say adios from here. Bye for now.